to share something with you. Like the masses, I was in awe when I first laid eyes on all the things you are. I heard that speech. I knew we'd make noise. I just thought it'd be in the streets.
The Black Panthers are the single greatest threat to our national security. Our counterintelligence program must prevent the rise of a black messiah.
You're looking at 18 months for the stolen car, 5 years for impersonating a federal officer, or you can go home.
What do you want?
Get close to Hampton.
The Black Panthers are forming a rainbow coalition of oppressed brothers and sisters of every color.
Neutralize him by any means necessary.
America's on fire right now. And until that fire is extinguished, nothing else means a damn thing. Imagine what we could accomplish together. We can heal this whole city.
You ain't tell me it was gonna be like this. These ain't no terrorists.
We got a rat, man.
Does anybody else know about me?
No one knows your identity.
Are you sure?
We educate, we nurture, we feed, and we lobby. Perhaps we're here for more than just war with these bodies. We scream, and we shout, and we live by this anthem. But it's power to the people really worth their ransom.
When I dedicated my life to people, I dedicated my life.
You get to go out there and talk about dying a revolutionary death because you don't have another person growing inside your body.
Anywhere there's people, there's power.
Hi, my name is Gil Robertson, president of the African American Film Critics Association. Today we are talking to the two amazingly gifted actors, Daniel Kaluuya and Lakeith Stanfield, who star in the upcoming Warner Media HBO Max film, Judas and the Black Messiah. We have even a better special trio with Fred Hampton's son, Fred Hampton Jr., or better known as Chairman Fred Jr. I'm going to introduce you guys to who you'll be speaking with today, starting with Brandon Collins in Queens, New York, Mercedes Springer in Atlanta, Carolyn Hines in Toronto, Rhonda Rasha Penrice in Atlanta, Katia Woods, our facilitator, in Philadelphia, Emmanuel Noisette in Chicago, and Sharonda Williams also in Atlanta. I'm going to let you guys do what you do so well, and I'll see you on the other side.
Sharonda Williams, Pay Your Weight. My question is for all of you, but Daniel, we can start with you. You know, one of the things that really stood with me and struck me when the trailer first premiered is the speech that you make, I am a revolutionary. And even after watching the film, is taking on an even deeper meaning for me. So I wanted to ask you, what does the phrase, I am a revolutionary, mean to you? Or has it taken deeper, greater meaning for you after finishing this project?
It has, in terms of, in conjunction with the work I've been doing on myself internally, I feel like it's, for me, it's about an internal revolution is what I realized is the most important, because your surroundings is just a reflection of your interior. And so like a lot of things that we are, that's what the Black Panther Party and Chairman Fred talk about, the education and shifting the mindset, shifting the perspective, shifting the heart in how you see yourself, and removing the oppression within you, you know? Because sometimes you absorb it and you take that on in saying, oh, that person's like this, that person like that, oh, he's this. You say little things, you say something about yourself. So in terms of the I Am Revolutionary, just like probably the top of this year, we take and go, oh, wow, it's about inside. Then you can do outside. If you go outside without the inside, you're just perpetuating the same pattern. You're kind of going into the same cycle. If you want to change the whole system, you need to change the whole system within yourself, and you have a better chance to change the system outside of yourself. That's how I feel about it.
Oh, I agree. Simple as that.
And Chairman Fred?
The fact, to put it in that context, in that historical context, in that time also, to one, even acknowledge the contradiction of how this system, how U.S. imperialism, how it deals with our people, and to be upfront about that. In fact, it's a speech with Chairman Fred would say, yeah, we subversive. We upfront about this, to call that question about calling for complete change, you know what I'm saying? And not just, it was taking past even what we refer to as a liberal position, like even similar to during the U.S. aggression against the Vietnamese people. There were those anti-war activists, many who said, peace and no to the draft, but the Black Panther Party had took a radical position, a revolutionary stance. In fact, Minister U.E.P. Nunes said that we would even send a contingent of members of the Black Panther Party to assist the Vietnamese people. So just that dynamic, because I am a revolutionary, to be upfront, to call that question in a place, in a country that is so Machiavellian. U.S. imperialism is so Machiavellian. It has a class piece where many people don't even acknowledge that we oppress. And as Harriet Tubman said, I freed thousands of slaves and would have freed thousands of more. Only they had knew they were slaves. So to not only acknowledge it, but to say, I'm challenging it. We're challenging it. We're calling it contradiction out.
Thank you so much.
Hi, everyone. Mercedes here with She Critiques in Atlanta. My question is for Lakeith. Watching this film was excruciating to watch Bill go through this inner turmoil, this conflict that he's dealing with. And I just wanted to know, for you as an actor, how was it navigating those emotions internally?
Yeah, there was a bit of conflict going on, many levels. I knew that there was conflict in the character, but there was also conflict within me personally. That I guess essentially in most interactions, I was trying to lift the veil of that conflict and let it be exposed. I thought that might add dimensions to the character that don't exist or at least didn't exist in my initial imagination of who he might be, since I didn't have a wealth of accurate knowledge about his personal life, since a lot of the operations that he did were clandestine. A lot of his identity and things he did were not really public knowledge. So I tried to derive mainly the most I could from Eyes on the Prize interview, in which he indicated to me that he had actually some really regretful ideas about the things that he did. And in fact, he wasn't just all of this polished exterior with all this bravado that he tried to push forward. In fact, there was a little bit of fear and insecurity and unsureness about what I saw in him. And I thought that was just more interesting than a big bad villain guy. So I wanted to try and marry the two and try to find some more of an honest place to come from.
Absolutely. Breathtaking. Both performances. Amazing, guys. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. Brandon Council, Media and Popcorn Podcast. My question is for Daniel and Lakeith. You both have incredible filmographies with memorable characters. And I was curious about your process and how you choose your projects, and specifically what drew you to Judas and the Black Messiah. We can start with Daniel.
I find it that I really activate my job when I'm off work, when I'm offset. That's when I start getting into reading. For me, it was just about understanding myself and understanding why I like something, not like what the industry's telling me to like. You know what I'm saying? It's like, why do I, if like, look at my friends I grew up with, like, why do they like something? If they're talking about anime and I'm like, understanding why. I mean, what it speaks to them, do you know what I'm saying? So it's, minute I educate myself on why I like something, it makes it easier to let things go. You know what I'm saying? And then if something sticks, it's just, I understand my feelings on things. And if something sticks, let's go. Do you know why? No, just like it. And I'm confident in that. You know what I'm saying? And I just move from that. So if it ends up people not liking it, I like it. You know what I'm saying? So, and I can't, I stand on that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I believe in it. And what's the second part of your question, Brandon?
I was just wondering what drew you to Judas and the Black Messiah specifically.
I mean, Chairman Fred Hampton's words and ideas. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and his concepts and Black Panther Party's philosophies. You know, it was reading that, just reading the words, going, wow, this is so deep and rich, and it's blowing my mind. You know, the Chairman Jr. spoke about the other day about even the time heightening the contradictions. That blew my mind when I read it and like getting my head around it. And I wasn't naive enough to go, oh, this means that. I actually sat with it and go, you know, I actually don't know what it means like that. I need to just live it and just kind of really understand it. When I sat down with Chairman Jr. and he broke it down, it hit me in a different way, but it's something, it was articulating something I'd always done, you know what I'm saying, but I was unaware of. And but yeah, it was mostly about being a part of championing and putting the legacy in its rightful position.
Thank you, Lakeith.
The process is always different from every role, you know, to some extent. So yeah, you just try and gain as much knowledge as possible, and and try and be present in the moment, and have the preparation meet opportunity, and then you go from there. What drew me to this role? Nothing. I wasn't really drawn to the role initially. What did draw me in eventually was the idea that it might represent a unique challenge for me, that I may be able to discover something about myself, pushing myself in this direction. And it's similar to what Daniel was saying, coming to understand why I feel the way that I feel, and why does this character enrage me so much, and what more can I find about further exploration, find through further exploration. But what drew me to the movie was Fred Hampton and his legacy and what he laid down, and how he, you know, did such great things for us. And I imagine Shaka could have asked me to play a broomstick, and I would have done that with the same enthusiasm, just because I want to be a part of helping tell this story if I can. Because not enough people know about who Chairman Fred Hampton was, and his legacy. And so I want to help bring that to light. And but, you know, after a while, it became readily understood to me that people understanding who Bill O'Neal was important as well. And for a lot of people to maybe see in what ways in which they mirror this character, and how some of the decisions they make might be similar. And so being sobered to that, like awakened to that realization, I know at least for me was eye-opening. I hope maybe it can be for others as well.
Thank you both. Incredible job.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Hi, Carolyn Presser, Here's What Happened podcast. First of all, thank you so much for speaking with us today. So my question is for Daniel. So there's a particular scene that really caught my interest, and this is the scene after Fred is released from prison, and he goes into the newly renovated office, the headquarters, and there's this picture of Huey P. Newton on the wall, and it's one that's a very iconic image, and he puts his hand on the wall and he says, the line about the people are the power. And I want to ask you, for you as an actor, what was running through your head as you were reciting those particular words, and at that particular time, considering everything that had come up before and everything that happened afterwards?
The space I was in, you said everything that happens before in terms of the narrative, right?
Yes, everything happened before with regards to the events leading up to that day.
Yeah, I think for me, it was what I connected to my journey, the kind of psychological journey and emotional journey I was going through in that moment was him being in solitary confinement and being intimate with losing his hope, and he's, you know, thinking that to even, I don't think he did lose his hope, but to even be close to it is petrifying for a spirit like him. And to go there, and you can see it when he gets into the car, he said, I want to go to the headquarters. They say he wants to face it. They're saying, what's the truth? That's the, you know, it's such a representation of the headquarters, the ground zero of the fight. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like him going there and then seeing his belief manifest in that way. And then and really taking in and looking at O'Neal, looking at Rush, looking at Deborah, and go, wow, I was right. You know, I questioned myself, but that's what the system does to you. It makes you question what you deeply believe, what is inherently you, you know? And he, in that confinement, when he gets that letter, that's in order to get into that place to where he breaks down at, the breakdown for me is him questioning his own beliefs, the question, the thing that makes him strong, you know, that keeps him alive, that keeps him clear. And then seeing that he's, and being over, like meeting that going, wow, like, yeah, just wow. Literally power anywhere there's people. And, you know, and he holds that belief in even stronger because there's so much more light in it because he met the darkness of it, you know? And so that's what it felt to me. That was my psychological pathway in that scene. You know what I'm saying? And just hitting O'Neal, like going, yo, like I see, like that ain't nothing. I see what that is, you know? And then even like narratively speaking, knowing the effect that it could have on O'Neal in terms of his journey, you feel me? And so yeah, that was the kind of my pathway through that one line in that moment.
Hello everyone, Kathy Woods, Cup of Soul Show. My question is for you, Daniel. You're 10 years older than when Fred Hampton died. Have you thought about like what it felt like, you know, to live a short life, but such a fulfilling life, especially playing someone that has been now mystified? You know, how did you approach tackling him, making him a little bit more human, you know what I mean? And allowing us to see that he was a real person, not some mystical being.
How does the mystical beingness relate to the age? Can I ask?
Yeah, because it is, when you think about it, you know, you've had more experience to be able to try things, to fail, for lack of a better word, to kind of like, as you said, discover yourself. Whereas with him, he was so young and people were relying on him. There wasn't a lot of wiggle room, you know, for him to say, you know, I'm scared, or I don't know, you know, that type of stuff.
Yeah, I feel like saying I'm scared, I don't know, it's a luxury or as a product of the time we're in now, you know? I feel age is a concept and it's however you feel it is. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and I think age, the age that what we believe as age is just the amount of responsibility that individual feels in themselves. Do you know what I'm saying? And so for me with Chairman Fred, I had to kind of go, he didn't feel, because he, like he said it in that monologue about Emmett Till, just saying, he's like, would someone do that to my brother, my sister? Like at that young age, he took that responsibility. He said, nah. Like, I'm gonna educate myself. I'm gonna be, and so I think if you are you, if you've learned all the things that and you are you, then you are an adult, or what people deem as an adult, because you have self-governing within yourself. You know what I mean? And so that's kind of how I saw it. You know what I'm saying? There's obviously certain areas like him interacting with intimate love that I feel like he may have not been as old as he was in the revolutionary space. Do you know what I'm saying? Because it's not like you're this age. It's just about the experience that you've experienced and what you've been exposed to and how much you carry and how big you are as a you to carry that. So I kind of see it like I just sideline. I didn't see him as 21 when he was doing that stuff. I see him as Chairman Fred Hampton. I'm the chairman. He's the chairman. You know what I'm saying? He has to get this. He's trying to liberate the people. You know what I mean? He's trying to raise awareness. He's trying to wake up the people. He knows way more than a lot of 31-year-olds. You know? So so I mean, I think he's older than a lot of 32-year-olds. You know, so it's that kind of like it's something I had to like remove the age and go, oh, that's just my concept, and that doesn't serve me to serve.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
What's going on, fellas? This is Emmanuel Noisette, E-Man from E-Man's Movie Reviews out here in Chicago. First and foremost, I love the work that you guys do, especially when it when it comes to the process that you put into transforming into your characters and the research that you put into them. So I wanted to know, like, what was like the most surprising aspect of your characters that you discovered, in your research? And also for the chairman, was there anything about their portrayals that stood out to you the most? Daniel, if you can go, then Lakeith, and then chairman.
Hit me that question again.
Yeah. Was there anything surprising that you discovered about Fred Hampton, for example, in your character, that just caught you by surprise?
I think it was the Rainbow Coalition. I think it was him finding points of interest with people he's in conflict with, and the Black Panther parties are in conflict with on a certain level, and getting to a different level and finding points of interest, and then uniting without compromising his love for Blackness, and love for his own and love for his own community, allowing that to serve what the Black Panther Party stood for and what he was doing. Was like, wow, you can do that at the same time. It's like, we kind of, in this day and age, we feel like in order to get close to that, you have to leave that. And that's what a lot of people do in this day and age. You feel me? He just didn't believe in that. So he didn't, So for me, it blew my mind. It's like, you never even see that now, It's like, who does that? Do you know what I'm saying? It was an eye-opening revelation for me.
Yeah, for me with O'Neal, it was surprising to learn once I had all the literature that Shaka had provided, and had all the transcripts from his court cases after having had an incident with Fred Hampton, just how closely and for how long and to what extent he continued to work with Agent Mitchell and the FBI, and bringing down a bunch of people, getting innocent people killed, hurt, locked up. There was just one story about him after having the incident with Fred Hampton, being involved in a drive-by, being a trigger man in the drive-by, just to get some other people implicated and set up. And he would just always just be, able to be exonerated by his proximity to the power. And it was just insane to me. Like, by the time Eyes on the Prize had come out, he had done so much stuff that it must have been difficult to get through all those demons. Like, how do you sleep at night? Which is why I like the dream sequence that we put into the movie, because it really seemed to mirror what I read about. I just don't imagine how some of those things you could be able to lay down comfortably. And clearly, based on how he went out, as far as we know, that was something that he struggled with. So that was interesting to dive into.
Right on. Even prior to us getting to this stage in the game, I've objectively studied Chairman Fred, as well as that, and that name is William O'Neal and others. And I say objectively, everything down from studying films and listening to war stories growing up, into even the different dynamics. It's about William O'Neal. Some people say, well, why is that? Because the deal is like, I studied the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I think it would be a disservice to history to just minimize Chairman Fred's work to locally to Chicago or William O'Neal's to just that of a snitch. But this was seeing both of these brothers in their field, and not just, like I said, it's not in conjunction with the other phenomenal forces that are involved with this project, to put in the help. Even though this movie is, a lot of people say, can this tell actually who Chairman Fred was? Well, you can't put a shark in a fish tank. You can't get that whole dynamic, but the dynamics of the federal government, what I'm saying, the power, again, it's a lot of, like, even O'Neal, I mean, we grew up, I studied this history about William O'Neal, even his biological father, the type of individuals they were. Did some background checks as a youngster, but this is one guy who had grew up with him. It's William O'Neal had said to me when they brought him to Cook County Jail one time, and I called, had him sit down with him, and the jail's about to go on lockdown, and he was concerned about the security. So I said, I want to do some investigation on this. But he had even said, he grew up with William O'Neal, but when he had seen O'Neal, it really impacted him about how deep Chairman Fred was and the Black Panther Party was, because he didn't recognize O'Neal. They had given him plastic surgery. And I recall even when we went to the William O'Neal's funeral, me and my mother, to pay our disrespects, as we have done with so many. We went to James Gloves Davis, Hand Your Hands. A lot of people like we have a saying, a lot of people are black when it's beneficial, play Panther when it's profitable, or connect to the Cubs when it's comfortable. We do it 24/7. All of this is not to sound sacrilegious. Revolution is like it's our life. And I recall us going to O'Neal's funeral, and I remember my mother's looking in the casket. She said, "This ain't him." She said she was considered. This is before we found out about the plastic surgery. This is these brothers, their portrayal amongst the others. It was a learning, a reaffirming dynamic. You know what I'm saying? I told someone the other day, he was talking to me. I said, I can't wait this movie get out so you can at least have an eighth of insight of the dynamics we're dealing with. You know what I'm saying? The fact that the COINTELPRO, not just a regular snitch, you know what I'm saying? We take a different position into Shockey 6ix9ine or someone being a snitch. No, the government created them, putting them in there. We don't say, does the government let the drugs come in the community? No, they bring it into the community. A lot of our community, many people in our community don't believe that we are worthy of being targeted by the government. It just was released this last week and a half about the federal government acknowledging J. Edgar Hoover's direct role on Chairman Fred Hampton. I'm in the house right now with Chairman Fred. Before he was Chairman Fred, the government placed a wiretap on my grandparents' telephone in his house when he's 13, 14 years old. We will leave the government just, that's Russia, 007, James Bond. No, to really reinforce the potential power base that we possess within the Black community in particular, in the colonized community in general.
Yeah, and I just want to also touch on, like, doing research for the FBI and what they were doing with just the extent that they went to infiltrate and attack and stomp out a lot of these constituencies and groups and individuals was insane. If you know some of the stuff they was on. I mean, they had technology way before you would think they had that technology that they were using. I remember hearing about this one like super crazy microphone that you could just like point at a building from like hundreds and hundreds of feet away and hear everything that's going on inside that building from a whole separate building. It was just like crazy things that they would be doing, and scare tactics, calling phones, threatening people, misinformation as is indicated by the letter that's written in the movie. All kinds of things that they was on just to try and bring down these groups that were really influential. It just gives you a sense of just how strong and powerful it means to be mobilized in the way that a lot of these groups were mobilized, and it was just a trip to me that they expended so many resources on that. And it's like, damn, if we take all them resources they used on trying to stamp it out and put that into building an infrastructure of these groups, no telling where we'd be in terms of progress. So yeah.
Thank you, each and every one of you. That was awesome.
Right on.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. My name's Thomasina. My outlet is Music Movies Thoughts out of Philadelphia. Daniel and Lakeith, you both turned in extremely powerful performances, still sitting with me weeks later. And I'm curious to know what self-care measures you took and how you balanced portraying such tragic real-life characters.
I mean, for me, I feel like, honestly, I probably should have taken more steps. I don't think going into the role, I realized how much it would affect me internally, and how much that conflict with this character and being foisted to these situations that the real me, the inside of me, was so much against, how much that would actually bother me or, upset me. So I would say, I joke with Shaka now. I'm like, you need to have a therapist on set when you're doing these kind of movies, just to help exercise some of that stuff along the way. Really, after the movie, I've had to, get into some, deep diving into, I started therapy for the first time, and, just trying to work on myself and grow myself. And I always wanted to do it for a while. And this movie definitely kind of helped push me in that direction, because even afterwards, and still sometimes when I watch it, it's hard to use your body and tool in that way. And so that's why I found it hard sometimes to maintain an understanding of the balance, because sometimes you kind of just lose yourself all in it. And especially when you're, shooting out a sequence and there's a lot going on and you just wonder if you're hitting that balance the right way. But, you know, I just put my trust in the team and Shaka and everybody that was involved creatively to try and help me find it, because, yeah, you don't want to, my whole thing is you don't want to misrepresent, and you don't want to, I just didn't want to tarnish the legacy of Chairman Fred Hampton by either playing the role in a way that was too far this way or too far this way. So, yeah, just trying to find that balance and all that. But a lot of it does, you know, it starts within. And now I know moving forward, when you take on roles like this, there's a lot of mental preparation necessary and spiritual preparation as well. So you can go into it and, you know, still be okay. There were a couple of times when we were filming, like my hands went numb, and, you know, I had a couple panic attacks in the trailer. You know, I developed alopecia as a, you know, stress induced. I had alopecia in high school, but it went into remission, and it was gone ever since high school until this movie. So, yeah, you gotta be careful sometimes going into these really heavier roles, and make sure you know, take care.
Thank you. Daniel?
To support what Lakeith said, I think the way I approached it was deeply imbalanced. Do you know what I'm saying? If I'm being real, I kind of have this tendency to abandon myself, and kind of just give all that I can, and kind of sacrifice myself in order to reach a certain point. And but that's always what I've done. So I didn't even realize that was bad until, like, last year, just life caught me slipping, bro. Shit was crazy. I had a reality check, and I realized that all the characters I've been playing the last few years, I'd never let them go. It's the real. I just been carrying it. But also, I'd hotwired myself. I found my trauma and go, attached it to this, and to get the energy, to get the feeling. And I go, all right, cool, I'm done. And it's still, the wires are still out. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And like, only now I'm realizing, you got to actually, like what Lakeith said, you got to actually prepare mentally and spiritually to go into these kind of depths, to deal with these kind of themes. And you have to get yourself out of it. Do you know what I'm saying? You have to let certain things go, because how I've kind of processed Chairman Fred is like, if you are awakening someone, you have to understand why they're asleep in order to speak to them, you know? And so if you deeply understand and intimately understand why you're asleep and you've awakened yourself, you have to awaken yourself in order to awaken someone else. But that means why they're asleep is in you. You feel me? Like, and so when I'm walking away, that's still there. You feel me? I'm not living my life wakening people up and having the lightness of that. Now it's just the darkness. You know what I'm saying? Now you're just living in the darkness and you're worrying about the darkness. So yeah, it got really dark for me last year, being real. Like, the pandemic allowed me to sit down, you know what I'm saying, and really think about myself, really think about why I do that. Why do I abandon myself? Why do we celebrate people that abandon themselves? You know what I'm saying? That's weird. You know what I'm saying? It's like, so it's kind of like, and I'm, you know what I mean? I don't know. I'm still figuring it out. It's being real. I don't know how to work any other way. That's the only way out. I learned how to act through improv. That's all me, using my raw materials. I didn't use no script. Using my raw materials, my experience, what I've seen, what I've experienced. And so, but I'm definitely going to a healthier direction, I feel.
Thank you both for being so open with that. Thank you.
Yeah,
appreciate it.
Yes, indeed.
Hi, it's Rhonda. I'm going to continue with this, but I want to hear from Chairman Fred. As someone who, you know, your father, you never got to physically see him. How did watching this impact you, especially the last scenes?
If I can, like, even address your question, just tap into a little bit Daniel Lakeith's response, the last response. I'd always said, even prior to this experience, I said, I want that Denzel Washington, you know, and like, how do you balance all that, you know, just, you know, engaging the whole dynamic with the characters, and, you know, and I would catch myself sometime when they come off shooting a scene, I would, you know, even if, you know, try to, you know, like, give a little distance and stay away from them, you know, do their thing. And even when we had struggles, you know, like with the script, I never wanted to overflow impact, you know, with them, with their art, you know, because I'm real big about respect, and I respect both of them as thespians, you know what I'm saying, as brothers. But that last question, I just want to tie it in, but to see this, and I learned, as I said in the poem before, in regards to Chairman Fred, my father, I say, I learned lessons from your legend and what a man was supposed to be. And we say a legacy is more important in your life. And I've been fortunate to hear, war stories. I've paid the price too. I've been suspended from school for writing about them. I've been placed in isolation in prisons for having newspaper articles about them. And no regrets. But to see others, and to see Daniel in particular, and even scenes with him and Dominique, the chemistry, and this, to see emphasis placed on things that I may have taken for granted. Like I said another interview before, I recall as a child when I would speak, I was subconsciously, I'd be talking with my hands, and then I would try to, I kind of was embarrassed, but I try to hold my hands down until I seen actual footage of Chairman Fred speaking. It's how natural. I said, oh, this is how it's supposed to go. And this is so I recall it was a scene when Daniel was speaking, and maybe it was a stutter or something. You may notice we have that sometimes too. Like they call Chicago Little Mississippi with the cadence of our speech, and I was hoping that there wasn't any struggle with other people on the set. I said that's it. I don't know if that was a mistake or, but that was it. I recall a scene with some of my actual comrades from the Black Panther Party Cubs. We was on set, and I think this is a scene from the police station, and we were speaking, and it was a combination of actors and some actual revolutionists and presidents, contemporary comrades there, and I think someone actually said, go ahead, Chairman, and you could just see the energy pop right there, So it was something. It was something. Just the process of it, on the set, everything down from offset, the wardrobe, can catch, talking to the wardrobe artists about the importance of our sideburns, I recall myself one time I cut my sideburns too low, and brothers was upset, like, "Oh, Chair, what's going on? What you doing, man?" But the whole process of it was phenomenal. It was phenomenal.
Chairman Fred, Lakeith, and Daniel, thank you so much for spending some time with us today. On behalf of the world's largest group of Black film critics, we hope you enjoyed this conversation, and we'll see you real soon.
Looking forward to it.
Thank
right
you.
on. Appreciate you.
Congratulations.
Appreciate all you guys do, man. I appreciate you so much.